it's just really cool. And even these right here are all synced up. What's up, bros? Welcome to this comparison video between ADJ's My DMX Go and the Airstream DMX Bridge. Now, before we get started with this video, I do want to mention this is more or less a comparison between the two. It is not a how-to video. However, I have already covered both of these products in past videos, so I'm going to link them up in the card. These are both DMX interfaces that allows you to control all of your lights using a tablet. And the reason why I'm making this video is because hands down, some of the most frequently asked questions here on my channel are about these two products here. And I'm gonna be quite frank with you, DMX in general is a complicated subject. It's not something that you pick up overnight. It does take time. There's a lot to take in, but once you understand the basics, the fundamentals of DMX, you'll see that these two products are actually a lot alike. And although these two share multiple similarities, you're about to find out that they're actually very different products. Now, let's start off by addressing the most common issue that people have with these two products. When they hear that it's wireless DMX, they automatically think that they're gonna be able to just set up a light in a random place in the room, plug these in, open up their iPad software, and the light is just going to start working. That is not the science behind it. So the way this actually works is you come out of here with a traditional DMX out, you take a cable and you go right into your light. The My DMX Go, however, does have a benefit because it has two DMX outs, so it allows you to go into two lights simultaneously. After that, you're able to just daisy chain, so you come out of one light into another light, come out of that light into another light, so you can control a ton of lighting fixture. Now, if you notice, there are actually two antennas on the DMX Bridge versus one antenna on the My DMX Go. And the reason being is because the Airstream has built-in Wi-Fi technology. Wi-Fi, not to be confused with Wi-Fi, is ADJ's wireless DMX protocol. And what that allows you to do is it does allow you to control your lights wirelessly as long as those lights have built-in Wi-Fi. However, not all of their lights have built-in Wi-Fi, and I wish that wasn't the case. I wish that every single light that ADJ put out had built-in wireless technology, because quite frankly, it saves you a lot of time on teardown, on setup, and cables in general. And Wi-Fi is actually the reason why my go-to DMX controller is the Airstream as opposed to the My DMX Go. My whole system is built on that Wi-Fi system. All the lights that I've purchased have Wi-Fi technology built in. And the cool thing about Wi-Fi technology is that Wi-Fi fixtures also work as a receiver and transceiver, which means that you can use that light to send wireless signal to another light. A few months ago, I made a video on my trussing, and in that video, I showed you guys that I installed a Wi-Fi par can inside that lives in there forever. And what I did is I just took a DMX cable out of that light and it goes right into my moving heads, my Focus Spot 3Zs. That totem can now be placed anywhere in the room, and I have DMX running to it completely wireless, which is why I'm so dependent on the Airstream. My entire DJ setup is built around that Wi-Fi technology. Controlling everything via the iPad on the Airstream DMX Bridge. What we do is we put some tape, we roll it up, and then we stick it right on. I usually have my iPad right here on this broken CDJ, and it lives right here, so the signal doesn't have to travel very far. So there you see a strobe. I can do a color fade, I can do a color strobe, and even these right here are all synced up. So as you guys can see, everything is synced up, and if Christian goes red, this will turn red, red, red. Give me another color. Green, green. Now the wireless DMX signal is run by ADJ's Wi-Fi technology, which is also what's inside of the Totem. Now the downside to the Airstream is that essentially it's just a digital analog controller, if you will. If you've ever seen a traditional analog DMX controller, you know that it's just faders that you move up and down. And essentially what this is that, but on a tablet. If you take a look at the settings on the tablet, which I'm doing my best to show you guys, it's just a bunch of different faders, which means you have to go in and individually program each light. This is not something that's plug and play. You will have to patch in your fixtures, set the addresses. If you want to make every single lights go to a strobe, you're going to have to manually go in, program every single light individually to go into a strobe. However, the beauty of the Airstream is that you can then save that scene and it's saved forever. So essentially, you do have to commit a couple of hours with the app, but once you've done that, once you've set all your scenes, you're set for life. If I exit out of my channels and I go into my scenes page, you can see that I've programmed a ton of different effects and scenes that I can use at all my events. And when I arrive to my events, there's only two things that I have to program, and that is the scene color of the entire room. So let's say, for example, the bride and groom want a purple for the entire hall, all the uplights, my DJ Facade. I have to go in and set that up. However, that takes 2 seconds because I already have all my colors programmed on top. Second thing that I have to program is a spotlight. And that's something that's easy to do because I essentially just go into my old spotlight and adjust it to fit the dance floor at the new venue.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you your brand new Mr. and Mrs. Barr. Let me hear you make some noise for your newlyweds tonight. And now I'd kind of like to direct everybody's attention right here to the center of the dance floor. Our newlyweds are about to share their very first dance as husband and wife. They've chosen a beautiful song. It's by Haley Reinhart and it's entitled Can't Help Falling in Love.
Go is actually a lot easier to use than the Airstream because it's actually built on a platform called Lightrider. If you're not familiar with Lightrider, essentially what it is an app that allows you to patch in your lights. You tell it what lights you're using, you set the DMX address, and it'll pre-make a bunch of shows for you. So you can do things like a blinder, you can do color washes, you can do movements on your moving head, and you can even do that also coveted strobe that everybody asks me about. So essentially all you have to do is just tell this guy what lights you're using, set the lights to the corresponding addresses, and you're pretty much set to go. It'll pre-make, I believe, 50 shows for you depending on what lights you have. So if you're just getting started with DMX, my DMX Go is a great option, but if you want to learn DMX, I would probably opt and go for the Airstream DMX Bridge. Hands down, DMX Bridge, in my opinion, it's just a better product. It's a better bang for your buck. This essentially is just setting your lights on auto once more, and I don't like that. Yes, it does create some cool scenes. Yes, it does make DMXing it a lot easier, but once you start learning more about DMX and you want to program your own shows, your own scenes, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. Everything that you can do in the Airstream DMX minus the Wi-Fi stuff, you can do here on the My DMX Go. However, it's a little bit more difficult. The channel faders are a little bit more hidden within the actual software itself, and it's not made to be that. This is for people who just want to run and go, people who don't want to set their own scenes. Now, the same thing works for the Airstream. So every program that's in here, you can technically program in here. However, you're gonna have to do that manually. So all 50 pre-made programs that some programmer made for this little guy here, you can go in and manually program that here as well. At the end of the day, these are just solutions for controlling your light. Now, with that, I do want to bring up some common issues that people have. Because essentially these are Wi-Fi modems, you will at times notice connection issues. And after talking with a ton of my DJ friends, the connection issues seem to be a lot more apparent on the My DMX Go. I personally have only used this a couple of times. I've never had connection issues. However, I've had connection issues with the Airstream DMX. I did about 80 weddings last year, and I know 2 particular venues where I was having connection issues. Most of the time for both systems, it's a matter of just unplugging it, replugging it, and reconnecting. And that usually fixes the connection issues. It's honestly dependent on location, and it's a little bit scary when you have dropouts, because if you're in the middle of a strobe and your Airstream drops out, those lights are going to be strobing and strobing and strobing and strobing until you unplug it. I sometimes wish that I could just manually plug in my iPad to this system here, and I wish the developers would have thought of this by simply adding a USB port so that it doesn't have to connect wireless to the iPad, so that essentially all that I would have to do is run a cable from my iPad to the Airstream so that it's not wireless. That way, if I experience any dropouts, it won't really matter. The second problem that has been brought to my attention is actually with the My DMX Go. A lot of people have told me that their app crashes on them. That is something that I've never experienced on the Airstream DMX bridge, and I've used this at hundreds and hundreds of events. I've been using this thing for 3 years. I absolutely love this thing, and the app has never crashed out on me. I don't use My DMX Go, so I've never experienced that issue of the app dropping out. However, I will say app crashing might be due to a couple of things. You see, Airstream DMX only works on iOS devices. That means you can only use this on an Apple tablet, an iPhone, something like that. It only works on Apple devices. This thing works on every single tablet known to man, and I think that's where the issues occur. Because it's such an open platform, you're bound to have issues. If you were to go the My DMX Go route, I would probably still opt for using an iOS device, an Apple device, as opposed to a Fire tablet, an Android tablet. I just think the iOS software is a little bit more stable than those other operating systems. So if you were to go the My DMX Go route, I would still opt for an iOS device to ensure the best possible experience when running your lights. Now, the purpose of this video is to help you make up your mind on which interface to use. They're both great interfaces. You can use every single light that's DMXable with both of these. Even if they're not ADJ lights, you can still program them. Every single light that has a DMX in and out can be programmed with both of these interfaces. It does not matter the brand, it does not matter what country they come from, it does not matter. Every single light that has a DMX in and a DMX out can be used with this software. Now, if you're on the fence about which one of these interfaces to get, I would always at the end of the day pick the Airstream DMX. In my opinion, it is a more stable, it is a more robust, and overall it is a better DMX interface than the My DMX Go. But if you're a beginner and you have no idea what DMX is, how to set your lights up, if you don't have any sort of background on DMX, this might be a bit of a daunting task. You will have to do a ton of research because everything that you have to do in here is essentially all manual. You're gonna have to go in and program every single light and every single show. This is a bit more for beginners, guys who just want something that works out the box where they can just plug and play. My advice to you is to learn a little bit more about DMX so that you can opt for something like this. And yes, this is a little bit more expensive, but keep in mind that you are getting that wireless DMX technology built in versus no wireless technology built in. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Over the next few weeks, I will be making videos on DMX, and I'll be going into detail about how I program my lights with the Airstream DMX. So if you haven't picked up an Airstream DMX, now's the time to do so, because I'm going to be making tutorials about how I go in and program my light shows. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna leave purchase links for both the Airstream and the My DMX Go down in the comments below, and I'll also leave ADJ's My DMX, which is their Pro line DMX system, but that system is dependent on a computer, which means that you can't use your good old tablet. And who wants to bring a computer just to run some lights? Tablets are the way to go. It's just so simple and easy to do it right here. Check out the links below if you want more information or if you want to buy any of these softwares. I'm going to leave them down there in the comments below, as well as the about section of this video. Thank you, bros, so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate a like. It really does help my channel out. Subscribe if you're new around here, and if you really want to help me out, don't forget to turn on that bell so you can be notified when we make these tutorials on the Airstream DMX bridge. Let me know what videos you'd like to see next, and if you have any questions about either of these, leave them down in the comments below. Signing off, DJ Barr. Stay awesome, bros. Peace.